you should stop cursing effective immediately. Now, of course, this is an extreme case. If you're with your friends or hanging out with people and cursing happens here or there, okay, it happens. You're in the moment, you're hanging out with your buddies, whatever, it happens. But in the long run, if you curse in a consistent way with people that you're not really close with or you're beginning to meet, then it can hurt you in the long run. And I'm going to tell you a few reasons why you should eliminate or at least limit your cursing or foul language. So, number one, cursing oftentimes reveals your tense emotions in an immature way. So when you're discussing something with a friend or with someone or a teammate or a peer and you disagree and you start cursing, this oftentimes reveals to the other person that you're not grounded in your own values and you're attacking the person for their ideas rather than having a conversation about how you both can coexist in a mature way. So it shows that you can't have a specific dialogue to get along with somebody else to come to a collaborative solution rather than a competitive standstill. Because cursing is, a lot of times, if it's in a negative way, which a lot of times it is, it's a competitive standstill between two parties where they're always constantly fighting against one another. And this is a violent way of communication. So there's silence and violence. And I can go into this more deeply in a different video, but what I learned from this book called Crucial Conversations, which I recommend for everybody to read, basically a book about having conversations when the stakes are high. One thing I took from this book is that there's silent communication is when the person is usually stifled and they don't feel safe in the conversation, so they don't speak at all, and they're very limited in their dialogue, while violence is the opposite way. It's when this person's emoting and yelling out their feelings to the other person, where there's a standstill and nothing can be accomplished. So when you're cursing obsessively at somebody, nothing's being accomplished. You're just informing them of your own emotional well-being and how you feel in a way that's uncalibrated, loose, unorganized. And nothing good can come from this at all. Number two, your words have value. When you hang out with your friends or peers or your boss or manager in the professional realm, what you say and speak has value. Anybody that comes into your life that takes time out of their lives to come and speak with you outside of a requirement, they're assessing your value based on what you speak. I don't care how rich you are, what you look like, your gender, whatever. I don't care about that at all. When you speak certain words, that is what you are being assessed and judged on. Your character is being judged on what you say and speak. So if you're having a discussion that is facilitating a tense disagreement, or it's bringing up emotions in one person or the other, a lot of times they are going to view you in a way that's not that mature and can't really organize their thoughts in a orderly fashion to communicate that with the other party. So for example, if someone's starting to curse and say like, oh, this food is bad, awful, and they start cursing to describe the food, they're not explaining how the food can be better, or instead of saying, oh, this food is bad, let's have this instead, or let's learn from this mistake and go somewhere else to eat. Let's order a different type of food. Let's go to a different restaurant. Hey, let's share some feedback with the owner or with the workers of this place so that we can have better food. A lot of times this isn't being done when you're cursing at the problem. Cursing is usually done at the problem, and it's never done in a collaborative setting. And also, it does reveal low status when you're not using words that contribute to a civil dialogue. Oftentimes, you're viewed in a low status way because you're not giving room for the other person to speak. Oftentimes, when people are talking to one another, they're very selfish and they want the spotlight on themselves all the time. So when they don't have the spotlight and the other person disagrees with them, they're going to start cursing at the other person, so then the spotlight goes back to them. Because if they feel like they're yelling and they're loud and obnoxious, then they feel then they feel validated because the spotlight's back on them. But I encourage you, let go of the ego a little bit. Give the spotlight to the other person when you're speaking with them, because oftentimes your conversation is going to flow much better because the other person feels heard, and then you could have a civil discussion, and civil discourse is ensued thereafter. Thank you for listening.